Let's talk about executive probing. Executive probing is a technique that executives use to find out how prepared you are on the overall ask that you're making. One way to detect executive probing is when you hear phrases like, did you think about, how did you consider, what are you thinking about XYZ? So when somebody says, did you think about the financial side, or did you ask Marge from finance, or any of those types of questions, that's usually a sign that you're being probed by the executive. Here's what's key to understand about executive probing. It's unlikely that they will probe you on the entire subject contents necessary to make the decision you're asking for if the first couple probes that they make all have success at the bottom of them. So they usually follow a format like this. Did you ask for or think about X? You say, yes, you did. And then they say, I want to see it or show me what you did. And you say, I went through these steps and I have available the materials that were calculations for that. And they say, I want to look at it. And you pull up a spreadsheet and you take them to tab 3, row, and column F13, let's just say, because it's a cool number. And they look at that and they say, how did you calculate that? And you tell them it's built up on these 3 things from these 3 sheets. And they're like, okay, I'm too bored. They're good with that one. And then they switch topics completely and instantly. And they say, yeah, but did you factor in the budgets changing for our Q4 budget squeeze and this and that? And they're like inserting this thought from the sky. And like, we thought about that. And here's the result that we got to. And then they do the same thing. They follow as deep as you can to logically pursue whatever one thing you're talking about as they probe. If they find that you don't know or that you didn't do the work, now they have enough skepticism to say, hey, we're not ready to make a decision today. They may take it onto their own hands. They may delay you. They may do any other number of things. Maybe we'll cover that another time, actually. The point is that we should be prepared for and embracing the concept of executive probing and notice it for what it is, which is it's a test to see how well you thought through the problem. And if you show that you thought through the problem well enough, they're probably going to just probe you once or twice and then say, I'm good and trust that the rest of the decisions that you've got for me that's covered with summary level information is covered to the same level of depth as you just displayed on my random probes. So let's prepare for our random probing. And then as we level up our ability to engage with executives, we'll start to invite that probing. Because if we're truly ready to make the decision, we don't need to walk them through a whole deck. We don't need to send them a whole proposal, and we don't need them to read and be as fluent as we are with all the information necessary. We need them to make the decision. And to make that decision, we can shorten the amount of time it gets to executive probing by telling them the context of what it is that we want to talk about, the last known point of common ground that we had, what's new, and what we brought for our proposal and our ask. When we summarize that within 90 seconds of how that benefits them, we can now invite executive probing immediately. Say, what questions have you got for me to say yes today? And then they will start. It's a really powerful thing to up-level your career, to talk to executives, to go from walkthroughs and full thought process sharing to inviting and succeeding at executive probing.